What's up, everybody? Welcome to Shane's Life is a Fantasy Draft, episode 15. We're going to talk about Loyola. We're going to get to a little bit about nuns. We're going to talk about some Saints cheerleader policy, and we are going to talk about the Rams. All that and more, plus a big MLB season preview starting right about now. Let's get it.
No, you see what he did there? See what he did right there? That was a hot take opening. That's what that was. I'm Joe Theismann. Play the music.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to Shane's Life is a Fantasy Draft, episode 15. I'm joined by Greg Dennis. Greg, how you doing?
I'm fantastic today.
Also joined by Daniel Gewurz. Daniel, how you doing?
I'd be doing so much better if I could hear some more from Joe Theismann.
Oh, hey, guys! It's me, Joe Theismann. I used to do a radio show. Let me tell you what I used to do when I did a radio show. I used to talk into a microphone. I used to say things.
Thanks, Joe. I'm doing great, John. How are you doing today?
I'm not doing too bad. Doing better than Joe Theismann's leg, I can tell you that.
Actually, the leg's just fine.
Yeah, it's been like 20 years.
They put a couple plates in it, couple screws. I'm good to go. I'm like a robot.
That's great, Joe. Listen, all right, it's time to talk about Loyola Chicago, which as of now is no longer the third most prominent Loyola in NCAA history, right, guys?
Oh, they've easily moved into second.
Yeah. So Loyola Chicago, now in the Final Four, seems destined. They're doing it. They just beat the brakes off of K-State. I mean, like, they're killing it right now. I'm excited. I'm here for it. It's lovely.
I would be pumped if it was like any other year, any other bracket. You know, my homerism is still raw. Like, if UB was able to beat Kentucky, this was their Final Four to make. But I can step back from that and see how cool it is to see an 11 seed in the Final Four for just the fourth time in NCAA history. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is pretty much uncharted territory. They're the most Cinderella team. I mean, like, you could really only make a case for VCU as an equally shocking 11 seed in a Final Four, and that's only really because they had a coach named Shaka. But otherwise, this is as good as it gets as far as upsets.
I'm so annoyed by it.
Do tell.
I am so annoyed.
I'm
not annoyed because there's an 11 seed in the Final Four. I think that's fun. I think that's what it needs. It needs this. It needs a little parody once in a while. However, they're surrounded by a 1, 2, and a 3 seed, so I don't really want to hear too much about it. But I just don't want religion in my sports anymore, to be honest with you.
Whoa.
I'm done with this. And they're going to do it on Easter weekend. Could this thing be set up anymore to be an after-school special?
That's ice cold.
Someone also mentioned that the Loyola jerseys look just like the Hickory High jerseys from Hoosiers.
Oh, my gosh, you're right. Like, I didn't even notice that until I saw it now, and now I can't unsee it.
No, you can't. Ugh. So you're right. It's totally set up to be like that. But I'm not worried. I don't know if worried is the right word. No seed worse than 9 has ever won a Final Four game, so it's not something to worry about. You're not going to see Loyola in the championship game.
Yeah, I mean, like, the odds of them actually making the championship game are pretty slim to none. I mean, George Mason never did it. I think, like, the lowest seeded team ever to do it was Butler back in the day. I think they were like a 9 seed. But other than that, yeah, man, like, this is pretty much where the run ends. And but I'm really excited that they're there. It brings an element of parody. It brings an element of unexpectedness to what we're witnessing. And it breaks up college basketball's blue blood club, which is really nice in and of itself. I cheer for chaos. I'm here for it. And I can't wait to see what happens as we move into Easter weekend.
Just to correct you, because you immediately countered something that I said. The number 8 Villanova Wildcats are the lowest seeded team to ever reach the championship game.
Oh, but Butler was at 8?
So Butler was not a 9.
Oh.
Ooh.
Fake news.
Butler
why
was
we
also
have-
a number 8 seed.
That's why we have a statistician on the show.
I mean, I said 9 seeds and worse had never won a Final Four matchup. So,
Yeah.
anyway.
You were correct.
Man.
My mistake. I fake newsed all of y'all.
Lawyered.
Just to stop the show in its tracks, and
Let's-
Well, I mean, that's what we do here. I mean, we're nothing if we're not a track-stopping show.
You were more Loyola'd by that one than lawyered.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Moving on, I think it's Daniel and I. We had this talk over text, and now we're going to bring it into the show. We need to talk about nuns. Overrated, underrated, properly rated. What say you?
I think nuns are portrayed in entertainment venues and TV and movies as like these great, I don't know, great. First of all, great people, and I'm sure they're just fine. Like I don't want to make any sweeping generalizations about nuns here, but like they're not.
They're not that nice.
I do not purport to be any kind of nun in entertainment expert, but
This is probably the last person on the show that should be talking about nuns.
True.
I'm just saying, I don't think nuns are as great as everybody makes them out to be. Like we all loved the nun in the Blues Brothers that beat up John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. We all loved Whoopi Goldberg pretending to be a nun, which I maintain
Greatest nun ever.
Sister Act exists in the same universe as the movie Eddie. So that nun was also the best head coach of the New York Knicks
Yeah, if we're being honest, probably of all time.
ever.
So, but to be fair, like I could probably coach the Knicks and could win 30 games.
Could anybody? I don't know. I don't think so.
By the way, Sister Act, 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb, lower than I thought.
I thought you were going to say 6.3% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes.
By the way, that far outpaces the Sister Act 2, which only got a 5.5.
Oh man, not enough people rated the sequel.
Well, I don't think that many people saw it, but Sister Act 2 was pretty good if I recall.
Well, they missed out on a gem.
They did. Like Lauryn Hill was in that one. She played a singer, if you can possibly believe that.
No, stop it.
No, for real. Like I don't remember much else about the movie, but she sang. It was good.
74% tomato meter.
She went to jail, didn't she? She go to
Lauryn
jail?
Hill?
No, Lauryn Hill went to jail?
No.
I'm on it.
Can we get a statistician on that?
Yeah,
real
I'm
quick?
on it. Lauryn Hill was sentenced by Judge Arleo to serve 3 months in prison for failure to
Go.
file her taxes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, did she go?
Yeah, 3 months in prison followed by 3 months of house
or-
arrest.
Yeah, you just can't not go to prison. That's like being a fugitive.
Guess.
Did she go? It wasn't an option. She was sentenced.
Oh, I didn't know that
After
was
her
mandatory.
3 months in prison, she did 3 months of house arrest followed by 1 year of supervised probation.
Woo!
Ooh, man.
Yeah, like if I'm being honest, I didn't know that, and I didn't really think anybody out there knew that. So,
Except for this guy.
Jesus.
Right here.
wow.
Keep my finger on that pulse, John Gorman.
You do. Like you are plugged into the zeitgeist.
That's a very old story, actually.
Yeah, it's from 2013.
oh.
Yeah.
So like I knew some nuns, getting back to the nonsense that we're talking about here, and they weren't always like in their nun garb. Like sometimes I would see nuns in regular street clothes, and I thought they were cool, and like we'd hang out in the rectory back in the old Catholic school days of my youth and whatnot.
Were they allowed out of their habits? I thought like
Well, yeah, like you could see it was possible to see nuns just like chilling on a Thursday.
really. I thought
Yeah, like you could hang out with them, and the nuns would like just be hanging out, just sipping that sacrament.
like on a Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. Like on a Thursday, as I just said. It's it's pretty ridiculous, but
It's all about that sacrament.
yeah, it's all about that sacrament. Gotta sip it.
I had a class once taught by a nun, and she taught mythology.
That's ironic.
Yeah. Well, she taught the Bible. Genesis was in there, but there's a lot of other stories, of course, from other cultures. But that was interesting. Well, she was an ex-nun, I should say. She was no longer a nun because she had a husband at this time.
She was a covering nun.
But she left the old convent there.
Chickens left the roost.
She gave in. She was a victim of the flesh.
Ooh, it's always a tough break. Sex kills a lot of nunneries.
Oh, that was terrible.
That was awful.
It really was.
That was terrible.
That was terrible, Ernie. Terrible.
Ernie, I tell you, that was just one of the worst nun jokes I've ever heard in my life. And apparently... apparently my Charles Barkley is a Keith Jackson impression, and they're the same person. So not really sure how that happened or why.
Wow.
Yeah. So moving on from nuns altogether, let's get serious for a bit. After the Florida State game, Florida State's head coach, he had some unsavory remarks.
So after Florida State lost their game, they lost to Michigan. They were down 4 with 11 seconds on the clock, and they decided not to foul, which, as a person who, watches basketball regularly, I will say that the constant fouling at the ends of games, that'll extend games, and a lot of times, it doesn't add anything to it. But when you're talking about the NCAA tournament, when you're talking about a single elimination tournament, right, you're down 4 with 11 seconds, and you're going to put a child on the foul line. I don't care if he shoots 90% from the free throw line. He can miss 2 free throws.
No question.
You're down 4. It's a 2-possession game. Even if he hits both, it's still, at that point, it's a 6-point game. You hit a 3, you get a 5-second call, you hit another 3. Like, we've seen crazier things than that happen in the NCAA tournament.
Right.
So Dana Jacobson asks head coach Leonard Hamilton, why he didn't foul with 11 seconds left on the clock, and he gets all incredulous. He's like, foul? Why would I foul? Did you watch the game? Did you see how much we were losing by? How much time was left on the clock? And that's horrendously insulting, and it begs the question, does he respond that way if it's Jay Billis asking him that after the game? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a fair question to ask.
You'd think he went Cam Newton.
Yeah, that's a cute question. Yeah, exactly. And it's an awful thing to do. And Dana Jacobson took the high road and said, he was emotional. It was mere minutes after the game ended. And, I'm glad that he took the time to talk to me and all of that. And that's wonderful for her to say. She didn't have to say that. And it was completely unprofessional. He has apologized, but that's the kind of thing that you see. And not everyone sees the apology. Everyone sees him acting like that. And that kind of behavior perpetuates more behavior like that. And I think it's awful. And I think he needs to see some real discipline from the NCAA.
Yeah, and we all know how the NCAA is just like razor sharp on discipline.
Yeah, they make up the rules as they go along.
Yeah, I mean, like, who knows what he's going to get?
He'll get a raise and a promotion to a better school and a better conference.
I hear they do that in Catholic churches as well.
Oh God.
Ooh, true that.
Hot take.
Interesting. Yeah.
So, like, in my opinion, like, look, that clearly that comment has no business being in the game. Clearly, Leonard Hamilton has done irreparable damage to his brand. Especially as a well-seasoned coach who, quite frankly, like, I hadn't heard of until this comment took place, and so now I'm sitting here, and this is like the first thing I think of when I think of Leonard Hamilton, and frankly, the only thing that I think of. And, this is just something that's symptomatic of a larger problem in society that we have.
But at the same time, though, like, I think we live in a hypersensitive society right now where everything it's hypercritical.
Sure.
Right? Like, if this was a pattern of behavior from him, right? This is something that we saw after every game where it doesn't matter what reporter gets in his face, he gives him a hard time. Everybody would throw this one to the side. Be like, oh, that's just him. That's just how he is after games. He's real emotional after games. However, the one time we catch him after a high emotional game, it happens to be a woman who is reporting on it, and he happens to give her this response, and now we're led, and so now we're not even having a discussion about this, right? We can't discuss it because there's nothing to base the facts on. We have one fact that he was really rude to one reporter who happened to be a woman.
Okay.
I don't know if this is his norm. I don't know if this is something he does. But now, in the society we live in, we automatically have to shun him and cast him aside and beg the question, was that a sexist performance from him? And I don't know. And does a part of me think it was? Yeah. A part of me definitely thought it was.
I jumped to that conclusion because of the way he reacted to the question. It is a common strategy in basketball when you're down 4 with 10 seconds to go that you foul. It's so common that it's weird that he decided not to do it. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
The question is completely valid. Why did you decide not to do it? He could have said, the answer could be they immediately inbounded the ball to a kid that shoots 90% from the free throw line.
Absolutely.
We had a better chance of him dribbling the ball off his foot out of bounds than we did of him missing 2 free throws. That could have been the answer. But he didn't do that.
Oh, of course, there could have been a lot of different answers.
But he didn't give any of those answers. He pretended like it was a dumb question, which it A, was not, and B, why would you pretend that it's a dumb question when there's no reason to?
Yeah, no question.
Right. I understand where the points are coming from. I don't know. The Cam Newton thing was a clear-cut case of a misogynistic response.
Right.
Right? That was a clear-cut case of, I've never heard of, first of all, he refers to her as a female, which I think is just the most belittling comment for the opposite. If a male or a female, I just think that is that just lowers us to the lowest common denominator across the animal kingdom. Right? That's exactly what that comment does. I don't like it. So that was his approach. Cam Newton was outwardly
Cam Newton
in his
is
approach.
Terrible at press conferences.
Yes.
He is consistently embarrassing himself every time he does a press conference.
We're not even talking about wardrobe.
But we're not here to
No.
But we're not here to chastise Cam Newton because he's already been.
Yeah.
It's already been through it, right? We're here to talk about this situation that is so, I feel like what we're doing is we're projecting so far into someone's psyche that we're hoping, we're almost hoping for this to be the right response. We're hoping that was a sexist comment that he made. We're hoping for that, as opposed to just sitting back and saying, maybe if that, we don't know because we didn't have a man ask that question, so we'll never really know.
Right, and two, we kind of have to ask ourselves, if we had waited 5 minutes, would he have given the same response to that question?
Right. Well, but he might be calmed down after 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could very well have just been a super emotional moment for him. But
and that's no excuse.
I just don't, I'm not saying this should cost him his job or he needs to be dragged through the streets and tarred and feathered, but
no.
We need as a society, we need less reacting like this toward women in traditionally male-dominated workplaces, right? We need proper responses to valid questions all the time across media, but especially when it's women asking the question.
Yes.
So would he have given a different answer 5 minutes later? Would he have given a different answer to Jay Billis? I don't know. But the fact that his initial reaction was one of incredulity that, a woman would be questioning his coaching decisions after a game. Of course you're going to have your coaching decisions questioned after a game. You just lost a 4-point game in the NCAA tournament. The second guessers are going to come railing out at you. That's how that works. That's how it's always worked. So what we need is less of people on national TV giving these kinds of reactions to women. It's a bad look for college basketball. It's a bad look for Florida State, and it's a bad look for Leonard Hamilton.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, but honestly, I think that I think there's a lot of coaches in general, especially in the NCAA, who are they're old. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're old. Like they're old school. Like they don't understand, and unfortunately I don't think they ever will get it until until they essentially they all have to kind of retire. Like I think we're stuck in this this valley of these old guys who they won't clear out. But I think when they do clear out, I think things get better.
Yes. But
yes,
and
it is.
I'm
of course,
also
you can put an ist at the end of
I'm
anything.
also tired of people giving people a pass to old people.
Right.
Like it's not okay just because he's 70.
I'm not giving him a pass. I'm saying the reason he acts the way he does is because he never learned. He wasn't raised to think that women have the ability to question his coaching.
Yeah, that software upgrade never hit yet,
Exactly. It's kind of like having a flip phone, flipping it up and be like, hey, how come I can't get the new iOS on here?
Right.
Well, you weren't built for iOS, guy. You know, and again, I don't know how he was raised. I don't know anything about him.
Sure.
I do know that he made a really emotional comment that was, who knows what his intention was with it. We can all sit here all day and we can project onto him what he was thinking and why he was thinking it. At the end of the day, he said it. It came out and was more than likely a knee-jerk reaction to the question. Obviously, it was a knee-jerk reaction to the question. He answered it so quickly, and he answered it as raw as you could possibly answer it. And then we get here, and then we're looking back. Hindsight's 20/20. I could look at anything I've done in my life and just pick it apart, and then at the same time look at it and be like, wow, that was never my intention. And I really apologize that came off, because perspective is everything, and that's really what we're talking about here is perspective. Where my intention was to never make that the case, but yeah, I could look back and say, wow, that I can see why you thought that, and that might be where he's at.
Right, and like, how bad was this for his brand, like moving forward?
Right.
So like, this is really the first time I've heard his name before.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's also the first time I realized that Florida State had a basketball program.
Breaking news here, everybody. Florida State has basketball.
They do. They just lost in the Elite Eight to Michigan.
Who knew? There's always football season, Seminoles. You're going to be just fine, I promise.
They were last in the Sweet 16 in 2011.
Oh, okay. So there's some history there. I stand corrected. Florida State basketball team.
Way to be perennial favorites.
Yeah, good job, Knowles. Proud of y'all. So, sticking with the theme of the episode, where we three guys talk about sexism in sports, I want to shift gears a little bit, and if you haven't heard, I'd like to read a little bit about this Saints cheerleader.
In a new segment we like to call reading.
Yeah.
John reads the news.
So in John Reads the News, this is from the New York Times report. A Saints cheerleader has filed what appears to be a wrongful termination suit from the squad, and after she claims to have been fired because she posted a picture of herself on her locked Instagram account of her in a one-piece swimsuit. Now, that's clearly ridiculous, but more worrisome still is this policy that the Saints seem to have in place, barring interactions between players and cheerleaders, whereas cheerleaders are not allowed to initiate any sort of contact with Saints players, although Saints players are allowed to initiate contact with cheerleaders. But apparently this is written into the Saints I cannot say that word.
Yeah,
like fraternization.
No fraternizing.
So if a Saints cheerleader is not allowed to initiate contact online with a player.
What? Online?
Yeah, like no social media.
No chat rooms?
No MySpace, no Facebook, no Snapchat, no nothing. Also, if a Saints cheerleader is at a party and a Saint player shows up, the Saints cheerleader must leave. Additionally, if a Saints cheerleader shows up at a party that a Saints player is already at, then the Saints cheerleader must leave. Also, moving on, restaurants, same thing applies. If a Saints cheerleader is at a restaurant and the Saints player shows up, the Saints cheerleader must leave. And if a Saints cheerleader shows up to a place where a Saints player is dining, again, the cheerleader must leave.
To be fair,
It's a restraining order.
fair,
Yes.
That's a restraining order,
the
though.
Saints
Hang
cheerleaders
on a
earn
second.
$10.25 an hour. Probably they can't afford to eat in the same places where the Saints players eat.
True.
So I can't imagine. I can't imagine that restaurant thing was ever really an issue.
You would think, like,
Look, po' boys,
they should call them Po Girls.
you know.
You know?
Oh my God, they should have been.
They should have been called the Po Girls. Instead, they appear to be the Saint-sations.
Cringe. No, they should have been called the Po Girls.
Yeah, the Saint-sations, everybody. Oh,
Yeah,
my
Po
gosh.
Girls.
Yeah.
How in the world the Saint Stations? So so they were named clearly in like the 1950s.
Yeah.
By like some off-Broadway reject.
So the Saints, 1967 came into the league, but,
Yeah, no, 1950 something sounds about right.
yeah, came into being not too far beyond that, but still, Saint-sations Hall of Fame, bad name, you guys. Like, my God.
Yes. Yes, I'm aware of when the Saints were. I'm just saying the etymology of that name is clearly a 50s.
Yeah.
The Saint-sations.
Yeah, so it's an outdated policy. It just seems smacks of sexism.
I agree that it's outdated. I agree that it seems old and like why would we need these kinds of policies anymore?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Is it a legal matter? I don't know. Right? I mean,
Well, let's look at this for a second here. She's suing for wrongful
right. Well,
termination.
she violated team rules for the private corporation that she chose to work for. She knew.
Right. So it sounds to me.
I was
Go
just
ahead, David. I'm
going
sorry,
to
you're a
say,
lawyer.
presumably she knew about these rules. I assume there's probably some sort of employee handbook that she probably had to sign.
Right, of course.
So as long as she was made aware of the rules, and the Saints followed,
Nobody ever reads that
New Orleans
What
Saints
rules?
policy in terminating her, I don't see any issue unless her argument is that appearing in a one-piece swimsuit is not violative of the Saints policy. Could be.
Right. So it also says she's filed a complaint with the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission.
That's where she should be going.
Yeah.
That's where this
Yes.
thing needs to go.
Yeah, so by claiming that there are two sets of rules, one for Saints players and one for Saints cheerleaders, that seems more accurate.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is right.
So there's clearly two sets of rules, a set for the players, a set for the cheerleaders, and there's no question that the Saints players have the more favorable set of rules.
Yes, that is an excellent point.
No question. Like,
I love that. I think an interesting thing, you guys will remember this, the Buffalo Bills disbanded their cheerleading group just to avoid a similar lawsuit.
that is absolutely correct. I remember that.
So I'm wondering if this lawsuit marks the end of cheerleading in professional football.
Well, so there's like two schools of thought on this, right? Like you could argue that on the one hand, cheerleading is an outdated throwback to a time when women existed merely as subservient beings to please men, which of course is as every bit as wrong as it is antiquated. But you could also argue that cheerleading has its place in that cheerleading as a sport, as something for women to aspire to, as something for women to shoot for, as something for women to do with their time and their talents is absolutely valid and worthwhile and still has a place in the American sporting landscape. What say you?
Well, yeah, you could say that, and ideally, probably cheerleading is the latter there, but it in practice is clearly not.
Right, of course.
I think $10.25 an hour is probably on the high end for what most cheerleaders earn.
Right, like especially if you count like all of the volunteer hours that they spend, like, you know, visiting sick kids in hospitals or like going to food drives or like branding themselves on behalf of the team without receiving accurate compensation for it, you could argue the pay is much less than that. Mm-hmm. So like perhaps maybe more appropriately, we should be addressing the wage gap when it comes to what players make versus what cheerleaders make, or, you know, find some other way to frame what the women do with their time.
Yes.
So anyway,
I do have to revisit the sexist versus feminist point that you made earlier, because I don't think cheerleading for a professional male sports team in any way can be feminism.
I agree.
And the reason I say that is because like true feminism is about gaining your agency and not losing your agency or subjecting your agency to that of another agent. So I don't think kind of latching on to a male sports thing and then building your brand off of that makes you. I don't think that's feminism. I don't know if it has a word, but I wouldn't say that that's a progressive feminist.
No, but I think what John was talking about was cheerleading sort of in its own thing. Like, don't think of the cheerleaders as, you know, in this case, don't think of them as members of the Saints organization. Think of them as professional cheerleaders, doing a routine. Like, I'm sure maybe you haven't watched, but you've certainly heard of like the NCAA cheerleading competition. Like that is an NCAA sport.
Yep.
And
right. You're right. No, and I yes, and I will agree with that. But when you're branded as the Saints cheerleaders,
no. In practice, it's very far from the ideal.
If you bring in a third party, like let's say that this is completely, I think if somebody came in and said, "Hey, you're the Saints, you do your thing. We have this group, we have this entrepreneurial group of women." And that this is their thing. Their business is like halftime shows, what have you. And they come in and they put on an incredible show, and they're allowed to brand themselves based on that.
Right.
Then I would say yes. That's empowering. That's your own. That's agency. That's gaining of the agency. But I think taking away from or putting them in, essentially having the male counterparts create their place in this world is taking away from that.
Yeah, like how much different is it if they're called a dance troupe,
Exactly.
So, like, how much different would it be if they were allowed to make their own money or operated independently as third-party contractors,
But we all know the NFL would swoop in and take most of their money.
Yeah.
So, we're right back to the initial place where we started at $10.25 an hour.
The NFL would want money?
No.
Are we saying the NFL's not a nonprofit?
Well, I believe they're
no
a
longer.
nonprofit.
No, they are no longer a nonprofit. Yeah, it was
what?
almost 10 years ago now.
Since when?
They became no longer a nonprofit so that they wouldn't have to report Roger Goodell's salary.
Good move.
His last reported salary, I believe, was $43 million annually.
Oh, is
and
that
was
all?
Like 2010 or
and
something.
a jet.
Oh, my goodness. Goodell. Anyway.
No, I know they're nonprofit. They're not nonprofit.
Not nonprofit.
I know. I was being a Weisenheimer. You caught me. You caught me, Daniel.
All right. Speaking of Daniel, 30 seconds on the Knicks. Let's go.
So the Knicks actually won a couple of games recently. Who did they beat? They beat the Wizards and somebody else. So they're winning a couple of games. They're basically locked into the number 9 spot in the draft lottery. Nothing good ever happens to them, so they're not going to be bumped up at all. So they're going to be picking around number 9. That's sort of the Mikal Bridges territory for them, that's who I think they should be going for. He's looked great in the tournament. He's carried Villanova into the Final Four. He plays the position they need, that wing defender.
And that, my friends, is a little segment we like to call in the nick of time.
You see what he did there? Let me tell you what he did there. Right there, he talked about the Knicks for 30 seconds.
Thanks, Joe.
That's what he did.
I used to do that.
That's what he did. I used to do that. I used to do that when I played football until LT broke my leg.
That's ridiculous. Why?
Once LT broke my leg, I didn't talk about New York sports teams ever again.
You think that Joe Theismann thinks about the Giants and says, like, the G word?
It's possible.
like they do with Washington?
It's very possible.
By the way, shout out to my Philadelphia 76ers. The process can be trusted. 4 seed in the East, up on Denver, 42-30. They are looking good for the playoffs.
Clinched. They're in it. Doesn't matter.
That's right.
Doesn't matter.
We here.
They're dancing. They made it.
I love it. I'm
second season.
Probably, going to be facing the Pacers in the first round. That's going to be...
I like that matchup.
I mean, the Sixers are going to be in the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think they could give the Raptors all they could handle.
No.
Okay.
Well, the Raptors who just got pantsed by the Cavaliers last week.
Yeah, that's right. Take that.
Yeah, that was just that was LeBron sending a little message their way.
How dare you?
That's
right?
all that
was
game
LeBron
was.
saying, I'm LeBron James.
Yeah. That game was, hey, I'm gonna see you guys very soon. Remember what I did to you.
That was LeBron James saying, "Remember the Air Canada Center."
Yeah. That's all that was. When if the Sixers and Raptors went up, it's a 4-game series.
Oh, you are so wrong on that.
I might give you 5. I might give you the gentleman's sweep, but that's about as much as I'm going to give you.
No. You are not giving them the gentleman's sweep. They're taking it 7.
Speaking of the basketball, Jones.
Wait, did they come up with that? I don't remember that at all.
No, I'm just saying they came up with the term gentleman's sweep.
No, I always thought that was a Greg Dennis original. Are you really?
Yeah. When? What year did they come up with that? Because I've been saying that for...
since 2008, right?
At least, minimum.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
I don't know, man. The basketball, Jones?
We need etymology on this.
Come on. Urban Dictionary.
I'm on it.
I need to know because I'm fairly certain that is my term.
Yeah. Daniel, check Urban Dictionary and let's see. All right?
All right.
Okay. So while Daniel looks that up, we could say, Shane's Life is a Fantasy Draft brought to you by Toyota.
I wish we were brought to you by Toyota.
No, we are brought to you by Geeks Unlimited, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are.
Shout out to Geeks Unlimited for all the hustle they put in for us.
So much hustle.
Absolutely. Find us on YouTube. Find us on Instagram at Shane's Pod.
That's the process right there.
Yeah, we are the Philadelphia 76ers of podcasts, and we're only just getting started.
This is true.
Yep.
Wait a second. Whoa. Which one of us is Markel Fultz?
That would be me. Only good in short spurts, kind of a no jump shot. Only good.
You can't post.
Yeah, only good passing it to other people on my team.
You can't post up.
No post game. Postless. Very sad. Oh my God. The worst.
Urban Dictionary is giving credit.
Who? Well, okay.
Looks like they're giving credit to someone on Reddit for the gentleman's sweep.
Stop.
What year? Can we get a year on that? We need a year, Daniel.
Says 2014, which can't possibly be right.
I'm crushing that.
Is all Greg all day. That's the gentleman's sweep of Reddit posts. That's what I have to say about that.
Oh, man. Geeks Unlimited, though.
Yeah, shout out.
Finish that up. Subscribe.
Yeah. Instagram, Shane's Pod. Do it.
All of their shows are now on podcasts. So Talking Flicks, go subscribe to
The
that
Announcers
podcast.
Table.
Awesome.
Yeah, some jerk hosts the Announcers Table.
This beautiful
Subscribe to
podcast.
that.
Yes.
Shane's Life, subscribe to that. Be the fourth subscriber to Shane's
Oh,
Life.
no. There's more than that. There should be more than that.
There should be 7.
That's all there is
Dude,
is 4 right
it's
now?
March. I'm counting the three of us.
Oh, because I have 4 people that I know that follow it.
Oh, okay.
7.
7.
So we have possibly up to 7
minimum 7
subscribers
right now.
Possibly 8. But yeah, Instagram, Shane's Pod. Find us there. It's going to be great. You'll love
Maybe
it.
we'll have a website.
Yeah.
Some T-shirts.
Yeah, some merchandise.
I would love to have.
However,
a t-shirt.
I still want to get Khalil Mack to start saying that he's from the @
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, on when he's on Sunday Night
Yes,
Football.
I would like to.
Khalil Mack,
I'd like to start a
the @
petition.
Yes. Where can I sign that? We need it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm gonna.
Find us at the @ You be the @
Yes, that's what we need.
I'm with it.
That's ours.
That's ours. Don't let it go the way of.
That is the gentleman's sweep. A decade before people started calling it the gentleman's sweep.
Don't let it go the way of the nickel curtain.
Yeah. Don't let this go the way of the gentleman's sweep and the nickel curtain.
We have to.
Everybody else just takes our ideas. That's all right. We float them out there anyways.
That's fine. We wish them off into the ether, and hopefully one day they come back and say hello. No guarantees, though. So, speaking of football, can we agree that the Rams have won the offseason, you guys?
Yes.
Well, their defensive line is the scariest defensive line
and their
that's
secondary
ever happened.
And their secondary.
The entire team is like becoming the Death Star of Hollywood. They are loaded on offense. They're loaded on defense. I am here for it. I can't wait to see them run all over the league.
They have one hell of a mojito.
Yes,
though.
they do.
So Graydon Gordian of 48 Minutes of Hell
Back to the gentleman's sweep.
says that a gentleman's sweep is a term that Hardwood Paroxysm's Matt Moore and I have for a series in which a team wins comfortably, but still graciously allows its opponent to win one game. This was written in 2011.
Oh, I'm still winning.
It's closer.
Still
I mean,
winning.
that's not. He's not saying that's when he came up with it. He's just saying
Right.
that's what he has. Like that's what he calls it.
Right.
So I'm still looking.
All right. Well, that makes sense. Hardwood Paroxysm has been a blog, like, it's been around.
Yes.
Like, since, like, 2008 or something.
Since forever.
Yeah. Fellas, you know what's coming around the corner? It's about to be baseball season.
Baseball's starting. Baseball season is starting.
Yeah.
Talk about it right now.
Let me ask you a question, John.
Yeah.
Has baseball ever been hotter?
Ooh.
Baseball's never been hotter with the Jacksonville Sun. Baseball's never been better. The Suns are better than ever.
I got to tell you, gents, this is the least I've known about a baseball season going into it for a while.
Or ever?
Yeah. So, it's I can't name anything that's going on. Fill me in, folks.
Baseball's never been more lukewarm.
That's all I got. So, guys, what are you looking forward to? Like, what do you really think is going to happen this year? I want to get your guys' thoughts on what's about to become an amazing baseball season, and more specifically, are the Yankees the greatest team of all time?
I can't wait.
Yes.
Yes, I can't
true.
wait for Joe Girardi for not Joe Girardi, for Aaron Boone to unleash the leadoff hitting Aaron Judge upon the rest of the league.
It's just not fair.
Aaron Judge has the best on base percentage in that entire lineup. And he let off a couple of spring training games. And if I want him leading off opening day.
Oh, this is better than when Blake Griffin played point guard.
Except really good.
Yeah. It's going to be amazing. Like, the power in that lineup it just goes up and down. It's unbelievable.
It is. There's one thing to be worried about, and that's first base. Greg Bird has more inflammation in his surgically repaired foot, and Aaron Boone has removed him from the lineup. They're going to have to reevaluate him. They're worried that he may not play for a long time.
Oh.
So there is a big hole at first base for the Yankees again.
What happened there? He get tackled by LT?
Nobody's seen Lawrence Taylor since they made this announcement. So
Well, you see what
that
he
is a
did there.
legitimate concern.
You see what he did there. He
What
was
did he
playing
do
too
there?
far off the bag. LT came, boom, hit him. That's what happened to me. Same thing happened to me when I used to play football. You guys know I used to play football? You guys know that?
I thought you just did just for men commercials.
No, I used to play football.
Oh.
I broke my leg.
of not
LT broke my
knowing-
leg.
Speaking of not knowing that someone played football, it took like, I don't know, 3 years into Chris Collinsworth doing Sunday Night Football for me to find out that he used to play wide receiver.
For the Bengals. He talks
Yeah.
about it all the time.
Yeah.
How did
Well,
you
I
not
don't
know?
listen to Chris Collinsworth.
Speaking of, you know
John Gorman.
who used to play football? Ahmad Rashad.
Well, we need more context.
Ahmad Rashad.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah.
Professional football?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was a basketball dude.
Nah, he had a nice 10-year career with like the Vikings and like
Yeah.
the Steelers.
The Steelers.
Yeah.
Was he with the Steelers at some points?
Yeah. Played a little bit with the Bills.
Yeah, y'all need to learn your history.
Yeah, come on.
But by y'all, you just mean me.
Y'all just got Rashad. But like for real, yeah, Ahmad Rashad hosts a lot of basketball, but had a fairly excellent career in the NFL.
Wow,
Thrown by
495
Sister
career
Jean
receptions,
herself.
Yes.
44 career touchdowns, 6,000 career yards, 6,800 career yards.
And not a bad career at all.
No?
Yeah. But yeah, Ahmad Rashad.
Yeah.
There you
Played
go.
from 72 to 82.
Yeah. Right at the height of the cocaine era.
A much better NFL career than I had.
That's a much better NFL career than a lot of us have had. That's a lot better than career than any of us have had doing anything at all.
Woof.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, besides the New York Yankees Death Star, which is going to be unbelievable, what else are you guys looking forward to this season? What else you want to see?
I'm looking forward to Daniel and I's trip. That's the thing that I'm most looking forward to in the baseball season.
All right, so you and I and Daniel, we all know about it, but like for the listeners out there, both of them, like kind of talk about this amazing little tour you're doing of baseball diamonds across the country and what you're going to see this coming summer. Love to hear it.
On the podcast the next week. We are going on a long weekend trip starting.
Yeah, I got the
Cleveland.
schedule in front of me. Oh, okay. You
We're going.
apparently have
I
it.
got it. I got it.
All right.
We're going to Cleveland on a Friday night, a little Friday night game.
Yeah.
Then we buzz down to the Berg
All right.
for
That's
a little game
Pittsburgh.
there. Pittsburgh. That would be the Berg. Then we hit up. Are we going to DC next? I think DC is the next stop. Going to see the
July.
Nats play.
Yep.
Okay.
And then we're gotta go to Camden Yards.
Yep.
It's got to be done.
Yep. All these teams are playing home games on consecutive days, which is one of the things that I love about the baseball season. I mean, a lot of people complain that it's way too long. It's 162 games, but
Yeah.
man, it's a nice leisurely stroll through some intense athletic competition.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And you can't really say that about any other sport.
It's a nice way to spend a summer.
Yeah.
It really is.
Baseball's a real nice way to spend a summer. I like to go to a Mets game,
Hell yeah.
watch someone drop their cell phone from the upper deck just outside of fair territory.
Which literally happens every single Mets
Yes.
game.
Yeah, that has happened. It almost struck Ethan in the head.
Oh, rest in peace.
But
I'm
you know
excited.
what? It's just a great way to spend an afternoon.
Yeah.
It really is.
Perfect.
I'm excited to see the way that baseball responds to these wrecking of strikeout and home run records, right? So baseball has essentially become strikeouts, home runs, and that's it.
Okay.
So how do you respond to that? And or do you? Let me
No,
put that question to
you
you
don't.
guys. Do you want to change the fact that baseball is basically just strikeouts and home runs?
No.
So like if you zoom out, like if you zoom the lens out, like baseball is always an evolving sport, right? You know, you've had like your dead ball era and your Babe Ruth era And you had the era where the pitchers were like lights out, and the cocaine era.
To the steroids era?
Yeah, the steroid era. Like, you had all these different like eras of baseball, and every single time the game fundamentally changed, although it's sort of remained the same, like on the surface, like you could always recognize that it was baseball. Like, the way baseball's been played and strategized, and the talents and the I guess the tactics of the players has continued to evolve and always have, and often to the benefit of baseball itself. Like, you can argue that baseball is quote unquote as exciting as it's ever been, and I'm okay with strikeouts and home runs.
Now the question? Do I think? Am I remiss that we're doing that we're talking about home runs and strikeouts? No, because those are the plays that people want to see. People want to see the strikeout.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the strikeout. That's a single player on another single player. You can argue that you have the catcher in there, so it's 2-on-1. Mm-hmm. And they're going at it, and you have the complete ability to play all of the defense.
Yes.
However, I mean, Kevin Costner did say that strikeouts are fascist.
Well, Kevin Costner is a fascist.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's a hot take.
Do not come that strong at Crash Davis.
I just came real strong.
Ghost pepper take.
No, listen.
Did.
Pitcher, he gets to play all of the defense in that play. A home run, you get to play all of the offense on that play. It's not like some people will liken it to like the 3-point ball, where it's like one person really taking on a brunt of the offense and scoring those points. But in the grand scheme of things, that 3-pointer doesn't really matter because it's such a small percentage of the overall points. A single run, a solo home run, that could be all of the points scored in the game. Mm-hmm. So, like, I love a pitcher's duel, and the same thing. I love a hitter's duel. I think they're awesome games to watch. The games that aren't that fun to watch is the stuff in the middle.
Right. So, like, the games that go like 4-3, that like are close but not necessarily interesting, where like neither pitcher has been particularly great, but like neither offense is lighting it up. Like, those are the games that are just kind of ho-hum. The games that you want to see are the ones where pitchers are mowing people down or all the balls are leaving the yard.
Okay. My only reservation with this new evolution of baseball is you have games where a ball will not be put into play for like 45 minutes.
Right. Okay.
And that seems, I mean, I guess it's a good point. Like, you have walks and strikeouts, and that's your inning. And strikeouts can be exciting, but to never see a ball put in
think
play.
About that. Think about that high anxiety foul ball that just goes outside the pole. Mm-hmm. That is one of the most exciting plays in all of sports. And I love the fact that they review it now. Did it hit the pole? Did it not hit the pole? Because that is such an incredible play. I mean, everybody in the stadium stands up when that happens.
Yes. And also, one of the positives that has is nobody cares anymore that, nobody in the Yankees outfield can actually catch a ball. Because it doesn't matter. Because how many fly balls are there, really?
Accurate.
I was gonna say most of them just go over the wall, but exactly. I watched Aaron Judge.
It doesn't matter that the Yankees
just fumble. It was like a line drive deep in the corner. He just couldn't pick it up. He tried like 3 or 4 times to pick up the ball. He just couldn't do it.
If only they more fully utilized that short left field porch out there to do some of the dirty work for them, Mm-hmm. But like, kind of getting back to what we were talking about, like, it's okay to me if like a home run is the source of all of the runs, because like there's just not many runs to be had. So like a home run is a high leverage play, and I'm excited for more of those. It doesn't matter.
Right. And I think Greg made the best point here. what we're left with now are the two most exciting plays in baseball: strikeouts and home runs.
Right, and you want more high leverage situations in baseball.
Yeah.
So, like, to me, what's great about this is you get those classic Clayton Kershaw stat lines where, like, 14 strikeouts, 1 hit, 2 walks, 0 errors.
How did he lose 2-0?
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, come on. The Dodgers with no run support. Just awful.
Because everyone's all tense. No one's loose anymore.
That's right.
Like, I mean, think of the worst game to watch is the game that has like 11 hits and 1 run.
That's
like,
so true.
Nobody wants to watch. That's a
Oh my
terrible
God.
game to watch.
That's true. That's the same. That's
boring-
analogous to Jarvis Landry with his 117 catches and 400 yards.
It's so true.
Yeah, led the league in catches, but was dead last in yards.
Yeah, and that brings up a good point. Like, you don't want a game with lots of yards and no points. You don't want a 14-7 game. You know what I mean? Like,
There's 600 yards of offense on each team.
yeah, exactly. Like, you just can't have that. It's so boring to
Right.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, why have we made so many changes to the NFL?
Yeah.
So we can throw a deep ball.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly where these rule changes. Oh, man.
Who's getting
It's hot
arrested?
right now?
Remix. Too hot.
they're really angry about your Kevin Costner take.
Fascist.
That's why, yeah, the ambulance just got here.
No, but like for real, like you don't want a game where people are just not chucking it deep. It's not that great.
Right, and we love those plays.
Yeah, and it goes back to like a larger point where over the last like half century or so, all of the rule changes that have involved in baseball and football and basketball have really made for largely more watchable sports. You could argue that North American sports are as good as they've ever been, with the exception of the NHL.
You stop. Now listen. I'm sick of you guys pooping on hockey all the time. Yeah, has hockey made a lot of bad rule changes
Yes.
in the last decade? Yeah. Is hockey that exciting to watch as it used to be when Gretzky, Lemieux, and Messier played?
Oh God, no.
No.
Does hockey have a star?
What is hockey?
No, and that's no, but I did a little digging around. Ovechkin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alexander Ovechkin.
is a superstar.
Okay, all right.
Statistically speaking.
Alexander.
Statistically speaking, he's a superstar, but he is not Gretzky.
No, I mean, and like nobody's Gretzky really, because I think the climate was different back then. Like if Alex Ovechkin played in the 80s, he would be just as famous, I would assume.
Alex Ovechkin has also been in the league since 2001.
No.
Right,
17 years in the league.
That's crazy. I didn't know he was that old.
Yes, but he's been shelved a lot of the time. He gets hurt a lot.
That can't be right. I'm sorry, 2004. 2004 he's been in the league.
Oh, okay.
Either way, he gets shelved a lot. I wasn't lying about that.
Right.
But his personality isn't there right now. To be a superstar in a sport, you need a personality and you need the talent. Unfortunately, he's got the talent, but we live in a social media age where he needs to be producing content outside of outside of the rink. So I think hockey's waiting for this person. It's waiting for like a LeBron James. It's waiting for that presence.
Everyone thought that was going to be Sidney
like,
Crosby, and it was not.
Oh no, what happened?
But he's not. He also isn't the personality, though. He's just not it. He doesn't have the it. And I mean, his on ice performance is great. Don't get me wrong. He's a good player. Again, another guy who's shelved a lot. Gretzky never took time off.
No, it's true. You're right.
Gretzky always played.
Yeah.
He didn't even wear a helmet.
It amazes me that Ovechkin never became as big as he has because Russian bots are always creating content on social media.
It's true.
Oh, wow.
It's true.
I'm just saying. That's all I got.
Anyways, I'm sorry for taking it out of hockey
I
tangent.
actually,
It
when
had
I
to be
lived
done.
in,
I enjoyed it.
when I lived in DC, I was very surprised to learn that DC, over all other sports, is a hockey town. They love the game.
Yeah.
Yes. I've heard this about DC.
It was,
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I was very
Next week, we're going to talk all about hockey.
sure.
Playoffs
I will
are
name all 4 hockey players.
both of them.
The Sabres are the worst team in the NHL after dropping a game to Phoenix last week. They are now the worst team in the NHL.
This is hardly surprising to anyone who's been paying attention to the NHL for the past 5 years. Both people.
So, wait, we're closing in an hour, fellas.
Okay. Right.
Right now,
Okay.
who do you have winning the World Series?
Ooh.
I have the Los Angeles Dodgers as my team.
Ooh. I have the Yankees over the Nationals.
Ooh, okay. Over the Nationals.
Milwaukee Brewers.
Stop it.
I love this pick. The Brewers totally won the offseason. It was amazing.
Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, they were good.
Wait for it. Wait for it. They're going to be making some noise this year.
Let's hope. They deserve it at least. My goodness.
We're going to get out of here.
All
John
right.
Gorman, where are they finding you?
You can find me at Hey Gorman. That is my Instagram, by the way.
No, actually, if you just walk outside and yell, "Hey, Gorman."
Right. That's how they find you.
Exactly. That's it.
You have to say it 3 times into a mirror.
Oh, man.
You say it into the mirror, it breaks, and then I come steal your girlfriend. It's bad news. So, yeah, you can find me at Hey Gorman Instagram. Also, read my writing, johngorman.co, the .co. And, yeah, so Daniel, where can they find you?
I can be found at Don't Take My Name on Twitter. I recently posted my first post in 2018. I won't tell you what it is. You come and find it.
Whoop, whoop. Tease.
And, yeah, you can find us all at Shane's Pod. You can find us on YouTube, Geeks Unlimited.
Whoop.
Subscribe to our videos. Subscribe to our podcasts on iTunes and Google Play. Greg, where are they going to find you?
In real life. In the greatest city in the world. City that never sleeps. The Big
City
Apple.
so nice they named it twice.
Yeah, Max Kellerman. That's right.
They sure did.
What, Max Kellerman?
Yeah.
Wait, what? No. New York City.
You know, he rapped that in a song.
I'm like 99% positive
How you
Max
gonna-
Kellerman didn't come up with that. How are you going to ruin our outro like that?
That's what I do. I ruin things.
Yeah. How'd you just poop all over? Look, just like hockey, now you're pooping all over my street creds.
Well, you know, it's been kind of a crappy show, so I'm just here to keep up with that theme. You know what I'm saying? All right, that's it. We out.
Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review.
Woo!
And we'll leave you a review.
Yeah, we gonna review you. Deuces.
John Gorman's going to play a song.
Peace.
Speechless on a summer night, the candle makes the mood just right. Oh, you are everything I see. Sweet kiss against the wall. I will rise and you will fall. Oh, everywhere I wanna be. Yeah. If one night I could take it back, oh, I'd do the same each day. If for one night I could hold you close, so I'd keep you here this way, all through the night. You shine a light my way. Candy excites the mouth. The compass north as I head south. Oh, hips or lips, I can't decide. Hands caress the short black dress. It won me over, I confess. Now there's nothing left to hide. If for one night I could take it back, Oh, I do the same each day. If for one night I could hold you close, so I'd keep you here this way, all through the night. You shine a light my way, yeah, yeah. Yeah, shake again, we'll scream out loud. Tell me why you want this now, you wouldn't want this any other way. Hey, hey, yeah, shake again, we'll follow through. Nothing left for me to do but I'd hold you till the light of day, yeah, yeah. And if for one night I could take it back, oh, I'd do the same each day. If for one night I could hold you close, oh, I'd keep you here this way, all through the night. You shine a light my way, yeah. Speechless on a summer night, the candles out, your soul's in flight, and you're still everything I see.